So Spain is famously known for paella valenciana, which is the classic rice dish from the region of Valencia. Of course, here in Spain, we have so many other great rice dishes like the one we're making today. We're talking arroz con champiñones y pimientos del piquillo. This is basically paella-style Spanish rice with mushrooms and roasted red bell peppers. And let me tell you, this dish has the most incredible depth of flavors. It's seriously so easy to make, and it's all done in about 40 minutes, folks. Serve this rice dish next to a crunchy baguette and a bottle of Spanish wine, more specifically from the wine region of Ribera del Duero, and you're gonna have yourself one heck of an incredible meal. Let's begin by getting our ingredients ready. I'm gonna finely chop one small onion, roughly chop 6 cloves of garlic, cut 3 jarred roasted red bell peppers, each one into thin strips. The ones that I'm using are Spanish pimientos del piquillo. If you can't find these in your area, you can just use regular jarred roasted red bell peppers. We'll finely grate 2 tomatoes to end up with about half a cup of tomato sauce, which is 115 grams. You can substitute this for either canned tomato sauce or even passata. And for the final ingredient, I'm gonna grab 8 baby portobello mushrooms and 8 button mushrooms. Give them a quick rinse under some cold running water. You know, by giving them a quick rinse, it's gonna make it so much easier to remove that dirt. And we'll pat the mushrooms completely dry to remove any of the excess dirt. And then we'll cut each mushroom into thick slices that are 1/4 inch thick, which is a little over 1/2 centimeter. For the next step, let's start cooking our rice dish. I'm gonna be using a paella pan here. The size of this one is 12 inches in diameter, which is 30 centimeters, but you can also use a standard fry pan here. I'm gonna heat it with a medium heat and add in a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, which is about 60 milliliters. After heating the olive oil for 1 to 2 minutes, you don't want it to get too hot. I'm gonna add in the chopped onion and the chopped garlic. And it's very important to mix these ingredients around continuously. That way they all evenly saute and they don't brown too quickly. You know, if that garlic browns, it can easily give a bitter flavor. After about 2 minutes, and the onions are nice and translucent and that garlic beautifully fragrant, I'm gonna add in the chopped mushrooms. And once again, very important to mix this continuously. That way all the ingredients evenly saute. About 3 minutes after adding the mushrooms and they're lightly sauteed, once again, you don't want to brown these ingredients too much. I'm going to add in the strips of roasted red bell pepper and 1 teaspoon of sweet smoked Spanish paprika, which is about 2.5 grams. And we'll give it a quick mix. That way the paprika is evenly coating all the ingredients. Then we'll add in our 1/2 cup of grated tomato, which once again is 1/2 cup or 115 grams. And we'll season everything with sea salt and a kiss of freshly cracked black pepper. And we'll give it a mix. That way everything's evenly mixed together, and then simmer the tomato sauce for a couple minutes. That way it can slightly thicken up. After about 3 minutes, and that tomato sauce has slightly thickened up, I'm gonna add in 3 cups of vegetable broth, which is about 710 milliliters. As always, the one that I'm using is homemade. You'll find a link on how to make it in the description box below and iCard above. And we'll also pinch in a 1/4 teaspoon of saffron threads, which is 0.17 grams. The saffron threads I'm using are from Golden Saffron. Once again, you'll find a link where you can get that in the description box below. Then we'll raise the heat from a medium heat to a high heat. And we'll give it a quick mix. That way everything's evenly mixed together, and bring that broth to a boil. Once the broth comes to a boil, it's time to add in the rice. I'm using Spanish round rice, which is the one that's typically used to make paella. If you can't find this in your area, you can substitute it for either medium or short grain rice, or even arborio rice, which is the one that's made to use risotto. I'm gonna measure out 1 cup, which is about 220 grams. And we'll add the rice into the pan, making sure it's evenly spread out. and we'll give it one final mix. That way all the ingredients are evenly distributed. And like I always tell you, when you're making a Spanish style rice dish, you don't want to overmix the rice. Otherwise it's going to disrupt the way that it cooks, which means if you overmix it, it's going to start releasing its starch, and at the end, it's going to lose its beautiful texture. And we'll also add in one sprig of fresh rosemary. About 9 minutes after adding the rice into the pan, and you can see the majority of that broth has been absorbed by the rice, but there's still a little bit of broth left. I'm going to lower the fire from a high heat to a low-medium heat. And we're going to simmer this on a low-medium heat between 4 to 5 minutes, or until all that broth has been absorbed by the rice. After about 5 minutes, and there's virtually no broth left in the pan, and it's all been absorbed by the rice, it's time to achieve the socorat, which is the famous layer of caramelized burnt rice underneath. I'm going to hit this to a medium-high heat, and we're going to go between 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Then I'm going to remove the pan from the heat, and cover the pan with some foil paper and a dishcloth, and we're going to let it sit here for about 5 minutes. You know, by trapping that steam in there, it's what's going to ensure that all the rice is fully cooked through. After about 5 minutes, I'm going to uncover the pan. And check it out, folks. Our paella-style Spanish rice with mushrooms and roasted red bell peppers is done. Once again, this is known here in Spain as arroz con champiñones y pimientos del piquillo. Super easy to make, such a beautiful presentation, and once again, came together in about 40 minutes. Let's give it a try and see how it turned out. All right, folks, time for the moment of truth. Let's see how this rice dish tastes. That is finger looking good, even though I ate it with a spoon. Seriously, the combination of those mushrooms with the roasted red bell peppers, explosion of so much goodness, and the rice is beautifully cooked with that socorat, giving it a nice texture. You saw this, very easy to make, and comes together in about 40 minutes. Like I told you at the beginning, serve this next to a crunchy baguette and a bottle of Spanish wine from the wine region of Ribera del Duero, and you're gonna have yourself one heck of a great meal. Real quick before I go, shout out to a couple of my patrons, Karen Reynolds, Melissa Thurman, Leslie Tyson, Alan Sanchez, and Jay Edwards. Again, guys, thank you so much for being patrons of Spain on a Fork. You know how much I appreciate you. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, as it really helps out the channel. Leave me a comment below, and don't forget to share this video with your family and friends. That way our Spain on a Fork community can continue to grow. Till the next time, hasta luego. Beautiful rice dish. It is not a paella, but it's made in the same format as a paella. Qué bueno. Hasta luego.